I'm Andrea Giles, and you're listening to the Heal from Infidelity podcast, episode number 175. Is it healthy love or love addiction? Hello, and welcome to the Heal from Infidelity podcast, where courageous women learn not only to heal from their spouse's betrayal, but to become the boldest, truest, most decisive, and confident versions of themselves ever. If you know there's more for you than the life you're currently living, but don't quite know how to get there, you are in the right place. Stick around to learn how to create a life that will knock your own socks off. Is it possible? It is, and I'm here to show you how. I'm your host, Andrea Giles. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Heal from Infidelity. Today, we are going to be talking about healthy love versus love addiction. I have clients that have come to me saying that they know that they have a problem. They know that it's an addiction type thing rather than a healthy thing. And I want to lay it all out for you today so that you can ask yourself about your own situation. Is this healthy, or am I staying for reasons that are not good for me? And I hope that even though this might be uncomfortable to look at, that it will crack something open of truth in you so that you can see really what you are deserving of and what you're willing to stand up for to have the kind of love that you want. Okay. Before I jump into it, I just want to remind all of you that you can apply for my program, Get Your Life Back After Infidelity. It is now an amazing hybrid coaching program where you get so much group coaching. There's several calls a week, some ample opportunities to get coached. Even if you just make it to one call, you then get to listen to all the replays. In addition, you get one-on-one coaching with Beth throughout the entire year. Beth is a coach that works inside my program. She's wonderful and very much loved inside the program. So when you join, you have a ton of support for an entire year. So go apply. I look over every application. I invite you to come join us. All right, here we go. All right, I want to know, have you ever felt like you can't live without somebody? Even when you know the relationship is not good for you, like that you cannot tolerate the discomfort of not having this person in your life, even when you know it's not healthy. We're going to talk about the difference today between love addiction and how it's different from healthy love, okay? Too many times people stay in an unhealthy relationship because they're so afraid to be alone. They'd rather stay in a situation that they know is not good for them just so they don't have to be alone, or just so they don't have to face certain things that they don't want to face. We're going to be talking about what this looks like, what to do about it, how to recognize it, and how to move forward from it, okay? You are going to hear definition and characteristics of love addiction in contrast to healthy love. We're going to talk about why love addiction happens and its root causes. And of course, I'm going to give you some practical strategies here of what to do about it, okay? All right, so love addiction is an unhealthy emotional dependence on another person, where the need for love and approval and validation becomes a compulsion. Like we have to have it like a drug. And when we don't have it, our body can sometimes act like somebody who doesn't have their drug. Very panicked, very, very uncomfortable. A really big piece is that love addiction often involves prioritizing the relationship over one's own well-being, self-respect, or values. It's sad, right? Like I need this more than I need to be respectful of myself. It's like we don't have the tolerance for it. The tolerance to just be with ourselves, knowing that we are living according to our values. Signs of love addiction are staying in a relationship that is unfulfilling, where you sometimes are feeling like you give way more than you get, or when you don't really have much that you really mutually enjoy, or where that there's toxic behaviors like manipulation, meanness, abuse of different kinds. And we stick with them because we're afraid of being alone. So it's like the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. Okay. I'm not saying I agree with that, but that's what this looks like here. Sometimes in this space, it's constantly seeking romantic relationships to fill an inner void or avoid emotional discomfort, like avoiding having to look at ourselves and seeing the things that we don't want to see. We often over romanticize partners. We blow right past red flags, like blow right past them, put them on a pedestal. We feel intense anxiety or worthlessness when we're not in a relationship, or when the relationship is on the rocks. When, for example, if you are with somebody who's trying to decide what they want after infidelity, whether they're the one who betrayed or the one who didn't, love addiction can look like intense anxiety and worthlessness as you are waiting for them to figure out what they want. It can be a very, very miserable place to be. Okay. Now, what does healthy love look like? Healthy love looks like mutual respect. Mutual respect. Each person maintains their individuality. Each person is allowed to be who they are while building a strong partnership. So there's mutual respect and autonomy. There's each person maintaining their individuality while respecting each other as they do as well. There's emotional security. Okay. Love is supposed to be steady, that you can count on it, not a roller coaster of highs and lows. Okay. Hear me on that. Love is steady, not a roller coaster of highs and lows. If you are listening and you have felt like your relationship has felt chaotic, like you never quite know what you're going to get, please hear me on this. This is not healthy love. It is not healthy love. Both partners in a secure relationship feel valued and feel secure. It doesn't mean that they might not have moments where they feel shaky, where old patterns come up, things like that. But in general, they know that they're valued. They know they're deeply cared for. They feel secure. Now, this can be a tall ask after infidelity to get back to this place, but it is very, very possible. Often the infidelity cracks things open enough to where both partners are able to really, really decide what they want, what they choose, why they choose it, and then build a better relationship. And so both partners can feel more valued and more secure than they ever did even before the infidelity occurred. Okay. Another trait of healthy love is boundaries and self-care. It means that each person is allowed to take up space. Each person can have personal boundaries. They can prioritize taking care of themselves along with shared experiences. So there's some of both. There's crossover. Okay. Think of a Venn diagram where there's each person there and then there's some crossover that's shared, mutually shared, meaningful. Okay. In a healthy love, it is growth oriented. Both partners support each other's growth, even when it means allowing space or challenges in the relationship. So let's say that somebody is doing something that requires them to be out of the home for an extra hour in the evening to train for something like an event. And it could present the challenge of giving more responsibility to the one that's home. Okay. What happens here in a healthy relationship is coming together, collaborating to make this happen. Hey, this really matters to me. How do you feel about this? How can I support you even as I go after this thing that I want to do? And there's some tag teaming, like, all right, now let me support you. How can I help you? Right? It's not a take. I'm going to do all of these things for my own growth and you should support me in it. Right? Not at all. It's collaborative, both working towards each other's good, giving space for that, and also giving space for challenges that come up in the relationship. That's going to happen. As we grow, we're going to bump into new challenges. This is the way it's going to go forever, right? It's usually when we bump up against challenges that we are able to do the work required to get past them, especially when we're in a space of healthy love. The challenges are not the problem. Okay, it's when we shut ourselves down and don't speak and take behavior that we know is not okay. that goes against our own values, that we don't feel respected or even respecting ourselves when we're tolerating it, that it becomes a problem. All right, so what are some characteristics of love addiction? Dependency over autonomy, feeling like you need the other person to survive or be whole. Really intense highs and lows. It feels like a roller coaster with periods of euphoria followed by really devastating lows, like where you feel so good on top of the world, followed by crashing lows where you feel like you want to die, like it's just so intense and I can't live without this person. A lack of boundaries, sacrificing one's needs, values, or self-respect to keep the relationship intact. It's sad, right? Yeah, like so much giving up just to keep the relationship a relationship of any sort, even if it's not a healthy one. Fear-based decisions, staying in the relationship out of fear of loneliness, abandonment, rejection, rather than genuine love. I will add to this fear-based decisions of staying in the relationship because we don't want other people to have feelings. We don't want our children to have feelings. We want them to feel good. And so we're thinking, if I just suck it up and stay and just make it work, even though I am very unhappy here, then my kids don't have to have the negative feelings of having their parents split up. Now, in healthy love, it is rooted in mutual care, shared values, and emotional stability. There's not a lot of emotional stability going on in love addiction. There's a lot of taking. There's a lot of boundary overriding. Like, I don't care what your boundaries are. I want this, so I'm going to take it. Okay? There's not a lot of stability. Love addiction, rather than being rooted in mutual care and values and stability, is rooted in unresolved emotional wounds and fear. Okay? I see this too many times with my clients who sometimes they're married to somebody who has unresolved emotional wounds and fear, and they have never really deeply looked at those things and really brought them to the light so they can heal them. Instead, they continue reacting to them and staying in this marriage, even though neither of them are very happy, just because they don't want to be alone. This does not work. It's a self-sabotaging and relationship sabotaging strategy. There's no strategy to it, right? It's completely run by emotions. Why does love addiction happen? Unresolved childhood wounds. This can be experiences of neglect, abandonment, inconsistent caregiving. Okay, it can create a craving for validation and love. Now, I'm going to share, as I do often, a little bit about my own journey with some of this. I realized probably 3 or 4 years ago that I have some abandonment wounds, and I didn't really understand why. Like, I couldn't go back and go, I was abandoned, so it makes sense. And as I've really, really looked at it and opened up and really just looked at my life experience, my dad died when I was 2 days old. Like, out the gate, my dad died. I never knew him at all. I don't even have a picture of me with him because I was born early and was in an incubator. And then my mom got remarried, and the second dad left when I was 5, and I've never seen him since. And those are some big wounds to have at such a young age. And I did have some inconsistent caregiving as my mom was navigating all of that. And it definitely has reared itself in my adult life in different ways. And the more that I see it and understand it, the more I can give myself so much compassion and remind myself that I am safe. Okay? Another reason love addiction happens is attachment styles. Anxious attachment leads to clinging and fear of abandonment. Okay? Understand what your attachment style is. There's all kinds of information out there that you can Google to understand what yours is. Low self-worth, believing you are unworthy of love and seeking constant external validation to feel whole. This is such a sad place to be too. We cannot love somebody well when we don't feel worthy of love. We can't give fully to somebody else if this is the place that we're in. We can only give as far as we love ourselves, and the better we get at loving ourselves, the more love we have to give. And often in this place of love addiction, we can look really, really loving, but it really is self-motivating to get something back, some assurity that we're not going to be left, not coming from this place of not trying to control or not trying to control the outcome of, as long as you never leave me, then ... right? Another place love addiction shows up is in media and cultural narratives. Okay, when we romanticize soulmates and this love conquers all, it can actually perpetuate really unhealthy expectations. Even the very best relationships, sometimes you really don't like each other. Terry Real, who I talk about a lot, he has a term that he has coined called normal marital hatred. This is in a good relationship, okay? Normal marital hatred. It's normal that we have times where we really don't care for our spouse, and then part of our growth is coming back into love, stepping back into that. But when we have these cultural things out there telling us what it should be like and looking at our own and going, this looks nothing like that, we can tell ourselves a story that we have a very dysfunctional relationship and that we should leave immediately. And I expect more. Not that expecting more is bad, but when it's coming from this place, it's more of an entitled place rather than a deep desire and values space. Okay. What is the emotional payoff between addiction type love and real deep love? Okay. With love addiction, there is actually a chemical rush of infatuation. It's a rush and the fear-based drive to keep the relationship alive at all costs. It just feels like there's so much on the line and I have to do whatever I can to hold on to this. And it becomes like this chemical thing, okay? With real healthy love, it can feel amazing. It can feel very pleasurable and amazing, but it's actually more steady. It's rather than, think about with food, okay? We can get a sugar rush from eating sugar, and it can feel really good. That can feel good, and then it wears off, and then we have a crash and we need more, as opposed to just a steady flow of healthy food that keeps us feeling good and sustained and whole and working for us, rather than needing more all the time. All right. The next section is steps to heal from love addiction. First is awareness, of course, like awareness and going, wow, I did not realize that that's what this is. And acceptance of recognizing patterns of love addiction in your relationships. Maybe you're with somebody who is in this type of mindset, love addiction. This can be really hard on you if this is the case, because what we all want to know is the person with me because they really want to be with me or because they're afraid of being alone. This is a good thing to know, right? Next is developing emotional independence. This means focusing on building your own self-esteem and learning to validate yourself. Learning to have your own back. This is something we do a lot of work on inside my program, is really growing ourselves, growing our own backbone, growing our own ability to hold who we are, knowing what we want and holding it, okay? Cultivating a fulfilling life outside of relationships, hobbies, friendships, etc., passions. Cultivating a life outside of the relationship. You are more than your relationship. So much more. Getting help, okay? Getting help. This can be through coaching, which is obviously what I do, or different modalities of therapy like attachment-focused therapy. That kind of thing can be really helpful too. Joining other people who are dealing with the same thing can be help too. I didn't know until I was researching this topic, but apparently there is a group called Love Addicts Anonymous. I didn't know until I prepared this. And this is for people who are sharing the same experiences and have accountability with each other, okay? Learning to set boundaries, practice saying no, and identifying your needs without guilt. So part of that self-esteem work is being able to say no and then being able to hold that no without feeling bad for it, okay? recognizing when a relationship is unhealthy and having the courage to step away. I would also say with this boundary piece, sometimes it's just recognizing that it's unhealthy and us cleaning up our side of things and showing up in a different way, right? And then seeing if this other person is willing to grow into a more healthy relationship with us. You can shift to healthy love. Cultivate healthy relationship habits, clear communication, mutual respect, emotional security. Okay. I want you to practice recognizing the difference between choosing love and needing love. It's very, very different. Energetically, it will feel different in your body. One will feel more fear-based and pressure-based, whereas choosing will feel like abundance and openness and love, right? All right, to wrap this up, love addiction is rooted in fear and compulsion. Healthy love is about choice, respect, and mutual growth. Healing is possible, and the first step is awareness and just acceptance. Like, okay, this is where I'm at. We're not judging it. And just like the example I shared with you about my own experience, there's probably a very good reason for it, for you, why you are in this space. You can have so much compassion for that, okay? You came by this honestly. Nobody just decides they want to be addicted to love and validation, right? Reflect on your own relationships, okay? I want you to think about the relationship you're in with the lens of what I just shared with you, and where can you tighten things up? Where can you stand more solid within yourself? What questions can you ask your partner or spouse about why they're in the relationship? These are all good things to know, okay? I want to remind you, my dear listeners, that you deserve love that feels steady and secure and fulfilling, not love that feels like a battle for survival. That is not love. Okay? That is not love. It's not worth your health. It is not worth the stress. And you are deserving of secure love. All right, that's what I have for you today. Thank you for being here, and I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Heal from Infidelity podcast. If you would like to be kept in the know about upcoming free classes, new podcast episodes, and other ways of working with me, go subscribe to my weekly email. You can subscribe at AndreaGiles.com/lies-about-infidelity/. Again, it's AndreaGiles.com/lies-about-infidelity/. I will see you next time.